Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing good. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. I'm joined by Sebastian, who is a big Arsenal fan. He's also a writer for the Arsenal Lounge, and I'm really looking forward to having you on today. And thank you so much for coming on. First of all, how are you doing? Have you had a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been good, thank you. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the game at the weekend. Yeah, and let's hope this is the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, it's obviously getting really tough now towards the end of the season, and I did want to ask you a bit about Man City's fixtures because for us, I feel like we've probably got the difficult ones. I think the last few games, especially United, I think it's not going to be easy. I mean, Man City obviously have got Fulham, Spurs, West Ham, and it's going to be hard for them to drop points. I mean, there are a few games I could see them Fulham. I don't see it happening. I mean, Spurs obviously aren't doing too good either. So I just don't know what to expect. You know, do you see Man City dropping points with these last games that they have?
Well, the thing is, if you'd asked me that question last week, I would have said yes. But now, after looking what's happened over the course of the weekend, I'm not so sure because, first of all, the way they slapped up Wolves was worrying. And also, when I watched both Spurs and West Ham yesterday, trust me, they are both awful. And then I got to the point during that Spurs game when I was like, I think it's probably time we start relying on Fulham because the way West
Yeah.
Ham and Spurs are going at the moment, they're probably not going to drop points. However, Fulham, they're not a bad side. They're obviously very good on at their place. So we saw what they did to us and a few other teams this season. But are they really got anything to play for? I'm not sure, and it's not definite that City will go there and drop points. And plus, I know the top four race with Tottenham isn't mathematically over yet because if they beat Burnley and Villa beat Liverpool, Liverpool beat Villa, which let's be honest which is well on course to possibly happening as a real possibility. Then it'll only be 4 points, and then if Tottenham did beat City, there'll only be 1 point behind with it going to the final day. So there is also that way to look at it. But
It's really tough, isn't it? I mean, I think I've probably accepted now that I don't see Man City dropping points. I'll always have a little bit of hope because I think you should. I don't think you should give up. I mean, all we can do is focus on our games. I mean, Lucas, a Man City fan here, makes a good point. Hey, so if City beat Fulham, then I wonder how Arsenal react against United. I mean, I think all we can do is focus on what we've got to do left. I think the United game, I think that might be difficult. I do expect us to win there, maybe 2 or 3-0, but I think for me, because they want to get probably that spot in Europa League as well, I think that's going to be tough. I mean, Everton obviously will be staying up, so I do expect us to win that one too. But how do you feel about our remaining games we've got left?
yeah, I do feel confident. United obviously away from home. Obviously, there's the Old Trafford factor that's always very difficult, no matter what form they're on. We just always seem to go there and not deliver. They always seem to do something. And plus, you have to look at United this way: their most hated team is Liverpool, who are pretty much out of the race. And as much as they don't like City, they don't like us as well. So they won't be rolling over for us. But I do, when I look at the two teams, I do think we should have too much for them.
Yeah.
They're not a good side this season, United. I've watched them; they've been awful. And how Liverpool didn't get a win against them, I have no idea. That is mad.
Yeah.
But especially if you look at their back line and their midfield, it's terrible. They've gotten their main defenders are out, and they're having to play Casemiro and Maguire at the back, and Maguire's now picked up an injury. So let's be honest. And their midfield, they've got Maemo, who's not bad, and apart from that, there isn't really. There's not any player in that team who I would put in Arsenal's team. There isn't really, but.
Yeah.
I do think if Arsenal are professional and at the very best, they should win that quite comfortably. But you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, I know United have had a lot of injuries now, and Rookie Cookie says I'm not sure how many will return next Sunday, but Evans is the only fit centre half. I mean, we should be beating United, really. I mean, I think for us, I just look at these games and I think we've just got to end the season on a high. I think for me, obviously, I think the season's been much better than last season. Last season was amazing, obviously, because we all thought we were going to win it, and it was just a joy to watch our team play this amazing football. And this season, if we don't win it, how would you feel? Would you feel more disappointed? Would you feel more proud? I think for me, I would feel a bit gutted because we got so close, we weren't able to get over the line. But I think I'd probably feel like more proud of the team and how far we've come.
Oh yeah, well, if you think about it, we have picked up 43 out of 48 points since the turn of the year. Like, we've only dropped 5 points. I'm just like, what more could we ask for? And the fact is, we've not exactly crumbled under the pressure, which we did last year. We were 8 points clear, then we crumbled, but we haven't crumbled this time. And no one can dare say that we've bottled it. None of these rival fans or media results. We haven't, because if you actually think about it this year, we've only ever been top on goal difference or just by a point. We haven't been top by quite a margin. And this just shows you how difficult it is to win a league nowadays. Like, Liverpool fans will know more than ever that you can play some of the best football that you have all season and where you have ever, and you'll probably will ever see it. It could still not be enough to win you the title. Like, they picked up 97 points in 17-18 and only lost one game, and they still didn't win the title. That just shows you difficulties. They've had near misses a couple of other times, and it's just mad that how hard it is. But like I've said, I can't fault the team or the manager, because what more could we have done? We've given it everything. Yes, we did have that loss against Aston Villa, but it happens. Every team has a blip from time to time, and we've not seen too much of those, which I can't argue with. The games I will probably look back on are those 2 games against Fulham. I think that was really disappointing. We should be beating Fulham both home and away. We shouldn't have picked up 1 point.
Yeah. I think the Fulham game especially, I know the Villa game a lot of people talk about, but I think the Fulham game, we should be beating them, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, definitely, because that really was those 2 games were really disappointing. But yeah, the Villa picking up nothing out of the 6. I think again, I think we should be picking up more against them. Yes, they're a very, very good side, and yeah, someone said even
West Ham,
with that one, yes, it was a big slip, but we actually played well that game. We just couldn't finish our dinner, and at that time we were struggling to score goals, which probably could come back and bite us. This is probably why someone said we probably need that top striker, but yeah, which we probably will. But listen, I can't fault the team as that. We've played some brilliant stuff, and we've just got on with it, and they are learning from the mistakes that they did last year. And don't forget, we went away to Spurs and won. After we played Chelsea and won, we've had a hideous fixture in this running, like playing like twice a week all through April, and we've only come away with 1 defeat and 1 draw. The draw against City was a decent point.
Yeah.
Yes, we probably could have gone and won that, but considering how they slap up teams everywhere else, and they score in all their other games, you can't really argue with that. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you will feel like gutted, but like I said, I'm proud. I'm proud of my team. If we had crumbled like we did last year, or not won these last few games, then you could say, yeah, maybe the pressure is getting to them. But it's not this time. It's just not the case.
Yeah, because I remember last season, I'm pretty sure our last game was against Wolves or someone, and we won like 4 or 5-0 or something, and that was because the pressure's off us. And it's quite an interesting point you make now. We're able to kind of deal with this pressure now. I mean, the pressure is on us as well as it's on Man City, and obviously Man City have dealt with that pressure for long time, and we obviously we're getting there. We've been in Champions League this season, and we're kind of getting used to what City go through with all of the competition. So I think with us, I feel like we are dealing well with pressure, and I think if the season does end, we don't win. I think, like you say, it's a good point to make about how proud we'll feel that we've not kind of crumbled, we've not given up. I think that's all we can do. Chase on City down to the end. I mean, I think they can still drop points, but I think even if they don't, we can still be really proud of everything we've done. I mean, I know a lot of fans have had a few questions about us not winning trophies, and it is a hard one because if you look back at a manager's time at a club, people will say, "Oh, Wenger won many titles, etc." And if you look at Arteta here, Arsenal, who has won an FA Cup, a few Community Shields, and I obviously see a lot of progress made this season, and we've not won anything so far. I mean, if we do win a title, that'll obviously be amazing, and I feel like Arteta does deserve that. I mean, do you think next season winning trophies should be a priority? Because I know a lot of fans have their concerns about the lack of trophies we've won under Arteta.
Yeah, I do think we do need to start winning trophies because
Yeah.
this is really, if you want a process to be successful, then you do really have to win trophies. That's how you last one, because we don't want to end up like Tottenham, because when they were under Pochettino, they were improving as a team, like going places, but they didn't win anything. We don't really want to be remembered as that. So, and the thing is that I want this to all count for something, and to do that as well, we have to improve the squad a little bit more, especially if we are going to compete on all four trophies, because we've got to be going for. I didn't think this year we quite had a good enough squad to compete in all four. Next year, there's got to be no excuses with the money we put in and the time and the effort to rebuild this squad and all that. Yeah, one could come this season. If not, then it does have to come surely next season. And I have said with Arteta, he does really need to win a title within these next couple of years. And then, because if he doesn't, if in between those times, then it's going to be hard to again, because then you're probably going to have to think about rebuilding the squad again and doing all that, because you can't really keep a squad nowadays together for more than 3 seasons. Liverpool found that out last year. That's why they made a load of changes to their team. Even City are now starting to realise that they're freshening it up, and that's what Pep's been doing. So his team is successful. But yeah, I am very hopeful with the way things are going. But
Yeah.
we just have to win our next 2 games and just have to pray for miracles.
Yeah, hey Niall as well, welcome into the chat. And yeah, I do agree with what you say. I think the thing is, people have asked me, I've done shows, should Arteta be sacked if he doesn't win anything? I feel like for me, it feels like a ridiculous question to ask because yes, we might not win anything this season, but I look at last season and this season, I think our mentality is so much better. I just feel like we look so different this season. I think Raya as well, Havertz, Declan Rice, I think, you do need time to bring in these players that will take you on to that different level. And I just feel like, with players, it's not good to have, they've had different managers. They've had Uni Emery. They've had, to deal with different managers. And I think, like, players need stability. They know they need to stay with one manager that will work. I think for me, obviously, the FA Cup, I would love to win, like, trophies like that as well as the league. And I feel like for us, we've had it quite difficult because we've had like Liverpool, Man City quite early on, and you'd usually get Liverpool, Man City maybe in the final or the semi-final. So I do think it's a bit unfair to question Arteta about, if we should leave next summer. How do you feel about that?
Oh no! To say if he doesn't win anything
Yeah.
this year, then he has to go. No. The thing is, first of all, you sack managers if things are getting worse. You do not do it if things are getting better. And you can see some of the stuff that he's doing. Like, I'm not going to lie, I had doubts before when we were coming 8th a couple of seasons, and also when we missed out on top 4, and also after those 3 games when we were bottom of the league. I did have doubts, but he has won me over with a lot of the things that he's done. And also he's had to make big decisions, which eventually he's got right, like getting rid of Aubameyang. I thought that was the right decision at that time because Aubameyang was clearly becoming a problem, and for all the good that he done, he was past his prime then, and he was clear that he wasn't bringing anything to the team. So that was right. I did, however, where I was critical about that is that we didn't replace him which did eventually cost us a top 4 place. But we've kicked on from that, and now we've challenged for the title twice in a row, which is good. And this is what we've wanted. We wanted to be challenging because it has been quite a while. I think the last time we properly challenged for the title, other than these last 2 seasons, was back in 2008 when we actually went right to the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't win it when Edrado had that leg break, and then the season unravelled from there. But that was the last time I can really remember when we went into the season and mounted a proper challenge to win this title. And this is what we want. We want to be at least in the conversation. If you just fall short, but you do everything, and even in these last couple of games, be in strong contention. This is what we've asked for. This is what we pay our money for. And this is why we moved to the Emirates, to be competing for titles.
Yeah.
Being competitive in Europe. And we are now starting to do that. And which you've got to give massive compliment to the team and Mikel Arteta. That's what you've got to do. And yes, I've just seen the comment there, 2013-14, when Ramsey was amazing. Yeah, but that season, we didn't challenge to the end. We kind of fell away. Around March and April time, and also the year when Leicester won it, we really should have won the league.
Yeah, that season. You know what? That was the first season I started supporting Arsenal, and honestly, if we'd won that then, that would have been amazing. But I feel like, obviously, since now, I feel like this year, I know last year we had a really good chance to do it, but I feel like this year, I just feel like we feel like more prepared, more ready. And I feel like next season, I just feel us winning stuff. I mean, I know people have their questions about that, but I just feel like you say, a manager, if they're getting sacked, it's because you're not going in the right direction and you're going backwards. And with Arteta, you can clearly see we're going forwards. We are going in the right direction with him. And this season, I'm just so impressed with how the team are performing. He got crucified at the time for letting Aubameyang go. With the Aubameyang situation, it was quite weird because
he needed to go.
It was a weird one because I honestly didn't know what to think. I was sort of in the middle because I really loved Aubameyang, but then I also get like Arsenal. My love for Arsenal will come before Aubameyang. So I think it was sad to see him go, but then after a while, I just didn't care anymore. And then he went to Chelsea, and it was just I just questioned, did he love us as much as I thought he did? It was one of those, because I feel like if you love Arsenal, you wouldn't really go to Chelsea. So I feel like, I think Arteta had to make some brave decisions. I feel like he had to be ruthless, and it's hard because he won't please everyone with the decisions he makes. You look at players he had to get rid of, like Guendouzi as well. I thought Guendouzi was a really talented player, but I always was worried about his attitude as well. I mean, Arteta's really had to, be blunt, be ruthless. I mean, it is paying off now because I feel like the squad we've got now compared to the squad we had years ago is just such an incredible team, right? I feel like we've come so far with Arteta.
Yeah, we definitely have. Yeah, definitely, and he's actually proving that he is a good coach and a good manager when doing these great big decisions, because that's what's being a big manager. This is where you earn your money. You've got to make decisions like this and then get them right. If you actually look at these signings all season, they've all been hits. Like Declan Rice has just been absolutely phenomenal, and I think he's taken us definitely to the next level. And he's just consistently a 8 or 9 out of 10 every game. So that's been good to see. During Timber, I know he's been very unfortunate with the injuries, but I'm sure he's going to go on and be a great player. Hopefully next season. And
do you think, with Timber, do you think he'll play any minutes this season? Because I know he started to play in the under 23, 21. I'm sorry about my camera. Give me a minute and I'll fix it. We're back in a sec.
Okay.
I hope that stays. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I think with Timber, obviously, for the under 21s, we did see him score a really good goal. I mean, I think for me with Timber, I think he would have been like a massive part to play in our season this season. And I remember we played in the Community Shield game and he was such an incredible player. And for you, do you think he will feature on the bench at all for our next 2 games, or do you think next season we'll start to see more of him then?
I reckon we could see minutes
Hmm.
hopefully against Everton. I reckon that's when you'll probably see him back in, or maybe be on the bench against Man United. I can see why he wasn't against Bournemouth, because obviously you see the way they played, the way they really kicked us and really muscled in. So maybe that probably wasn't a game for him. And also with Bournemouth, they're good on the break. So which we saw, they've got some great attackers, which I thought
Yeah.
too much for Timber for his first game. But I reckon United probably will see him on the bench, and maybe Everton. I think Everton, maybe you never know, but
Yeah.
that is a game I am expecting him to be part of, and it'll be nice for him to have some minutes, yeah, because obviously he's going to need a few minutes. Even if you just come back from injury, you need some match time, and I think he'll definitely have a full pre-season, and I highly doubt he definitely shouldn't be going to the Euros.
Yeah, I'd hope not. Yeah, I think, yeah, it'd be good to see him. I think the Everton game, if he came off the bench, maybe, I think it would be nice to see him get some minutes. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I really like Timber. I hope to see more of him. This is a good point from Emerson, because I didn't realise this. Villa are the only team to do the double over us this season. I didn't realise that.
Emery as well. Oh.
Leave us alone, you know. It'd be weird because
He knows how to play us, that's why.
and now it's annoying because people are saying, you know, he knows as well, doesn't he? I mean, I think Emery's a really good coach. I think we need to beat them soon. I mean, yeah. Hey, Harry, I hope you're okay. Sean Dyche's sides are very physical. Yeah, Everton are a weird team to play against. I found them quite hard to play. How do you think that game will go? I mean, I see them as a team, you know, that are staying up in the Premier League this season. They've got enough, so I think if they were fighting to stay up, I think it would be a much tougher game, but I still think it will be a physical and hard game to play in.
Oh yeah, well, Everton at home is a game I always expect to win, but
Yeah.
and especially on the final day, we've slapped them up 3-1 and 5-1 a couple of times. So, but
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
yeah, I think we should be all right in that game. To be honest with you, out of the 3 games before this weekend, I said Bournemouth was the hardest out of United and Everton. I still very much stand by that actually, and
Yeah.
yeah, but Everton, I think we should be beating, and also I think we should be beating United, because if you look at the 2 teams combined, we are definitely the better team, and we're the team that's got the rhythm and momentum with us. So
Yeah, I agree. I wanted actually to ask you something about Partey, because I know this season we've started to see him get more minutes, and I'm not gonna lie, before, you know, when he was injured, when people would say, would you sell him in the summer? I was always open to it, and I thought, you know what, because he's injured quite a lot, maybe, you know, we could get some money for him, bring someone in. And now I've seen him play, I'm actually thinking maybe it's good to keep him as a player to have in the team, because I know he gets injured like too much, and he obviously can't help that. It's just, you know, him as a player, how he deals with that. But what are your thoughts on him about staying? Would you want him to probably stay, or do you feel like we should get the money for him instead?
it's a difficult one. Again, I was just like you most of the season. That this Thomas Partey Finn experiment needs to end in the summer, because the thing with him, he's such a great player when he's fit, when he can stay fit, but he just can't. And also, if you look at his contract, he'll only have a year left after this summer, and I can understand. I think the club will move him on if a good offer comes in, like one from Saudi comes in. I reckon they will do it. And I am hearing rumours that Partey actually wants to stay, but if we were to stay, we have to really extend his contract, because I think a player of his quality should not really be leaving on free, because we've seen so much of that in the past, and we've seen the effect it does. And this is a thing we cannot keep allowing to do. And I do actually reckon they probably will look to move him on, especially that they've tied up Jorginho for a couple more years. He's staying. El Nene, I expect to move on. But I do think we should be bringing in a new midfielder. I think we need a number 6, so then allow Rice to go a little bit more forward, and
Yeah.
hopefully he will unlock Martinelli and Trossard on that side, because that's what Martinelli's been missing. Because Xhaka, when you be going further forward, he's actually
Yeah.
that's how Xhaka got better. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. But regardless of whatever happens with Partey, I think if we are to keep him, we have to give him a new contract. But otherwise,
Yeah.
we should sell him. But regardless of that, we definitely need another midfielder, someone like a Zubimendi or a Anana from Everton. I think one of
Yeah.
those would be great.
I think I agree with you. Like, regardless of where we finish, I feel like this season, I mean for next season, I think with Partey, if he stays, if he goes, I still think we need to bring in that midfield. I mean, I do feel like Rice is superb. We've got Jorginho, who's probably going to extend the deal with us as well. I mean, I did want to ask you about the summer, like about the players we should bring in. I do feel like there's a lot of players that will leave us, I think. I don't know about Zinchenko or Jesus. I mean, it's a difficult one. I'd probably expect Nketiah and Nelson to probably leave, perhaps Ramsdale. I mean, who do you think? Who do you see leaving this summer, and who would you like to bring in as well?
Ooh, leaving. Yeah, I do see quite a few people. I think the ones on loan will probably go. Like,
Yeah,
I expect Tavares to go. I expect Lokonga to be moved on. He's had a decent loan spell actually at Luton, but I just don't see him
yeah,
being part of Mikel Arteta's plans. Tierney, I definitely think will move on, which is a shame. I do like him, but I just don't think he's a tactical fit, and also he can't stay fit, so it probably will be time to move him on. Ramsdale will definitely move on.
yeah,
Nketiah, yes, I definitely move him on now. I don't think he's good enough. El Nene will move on. Cedric is pretty much gone. That'll happen. You also mentioned Zinchenko and Jesus. They're interesting ones. The thing is, with those two, I know they haven't quite been good this season, but I still do think they bring something to the team, and I'm actually not ready to wash my hands with them just yet. I'm not ready to say they have to go. But if a good offer comes in, something like
yeah,
a million a plus, I do think we have to actually consider it, because again, you want money to be coming into the club. You want to be generating some money. We can't be letting players literally run down their contracts, and they literally have to be forced out. So, and I think these are the times when we're going to get good value for players. And
yeah,
maybe the process has gone past Jesus and Zinchenko, which is a shame because I think they're great players. But I think Jesus has just lost a lot of. I think he's lost a lot of pace, which is a big part of his game. And Zinchenko, I love what he's brought, the dynamism that he brought to the team, the passion, the change of mentality. But
yeah,
again, he hasn't really been quite a tactical fit this year, and people are saying he's probably a weak link at left back, which he probably is. Maybe left back isn't really his position. If we move him to midfield, I'm all for it, but maybe at left back, I just don't think he's quite the answer anymore. I disagree with the brief he's been getting. I think that Tom's just been completely over the top, but because let's not forget what they brought to us. Him and Jesus have been part of the reason why we are in the title race, because they changed the mentality, they raised the standards.
yeah.
We need players like that. But like I've said, if a good offer comes in, then we have to take it. But I'm really not ready to wash my hands on those two players at the moment. I do actually think we could do another left back, but
Yeah.
I'm not ready to wash my hands.
On with Sinchenko, because I just feel like when he plays, I mean, I know, look, right, last season, right, I thought he was amazing. I think defensively, he did make mistakes, which did cost us sometimes. But I do feel like there is a really good player in him. I don't know, like the midfield, could we try him there? I mean, we've got our lineup now, which we know absolutely works well, and I wouldn't want to change anything. But I know Sinchenko will want to start and play games, but I feel like if I saw the lineup and I saw him at left back, I do get anxious when I'm watching him because he does make those mistakes that do kind of cost us. But I know there's a big area of his game that works really well when he's playing. I just think defensively he just struggles a little bit. I mean, I think Jesus, I do like Jesus. I feel like he's obviously had injuries which probably are affecting him a little bit with how his body's dealing with it all. And I feel like there's a really good player in him, and I'd probably keep Jesus. Maybe not necessarily someone who will play every game, maybe someone that will come off the bench. You could use him. I mean, I know Arsenal might be willing to hear offers, but I think I'd like to personally see Jesus still stay here. I mean, Nketiah I do expect to leave because I think he's not really getting much game time, and I know he'll want to get some game time. But this is a good one actually. I'd throw Fofana into the mix. I mean, I don't know who we will bring in. I think
Not a bad player, to be honest. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think he is a good player. I definitely would like him. I think I did want to ask you about the striker situation because I know we're scoring goals for fun at the minute. We're doing good, but we do know that having a striker would definitely improve us. And there are a lot of options. There are a few options you could say. Newcastle of Isaac. Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney. I mean, is there any strikers out there that you'd like to have at Arsenal for next season?
Yeah, but for one, I really want is Isaac from Newcastle.
Yeah,
I think he's the answer. I think he's incredible, and he definitely take us onto a next level. But he will be very difficult to get because I heard last week that Newcastle were trying to tie him down to a new contract. They're not willing to sell him. But I really do think if Arsenal are serious, then he is gettable, and I think Isaac is the option. I also do think we need another winger because
yeah.
great as Saka is, we can't keep playing him every single week. He clearly needs rest. He's still young. We can't keep playing him every week, and we have gotten. I do expect Reece Nelson to be moved on. I think his time's done.
Yeah.
As much as I love Martinelli and Trossard, I love them. I think they're brilliant. I do think they're more squad players. I don't think we can be relying on them to start every single week if we really want to go to the next level. I think they're more great squad players, and I do think we probably could do someone on that wing. A person I really like is Pedro Neto from Wolves. I've been a big fan.
Yeah.
I know he's had his fair share of injury problems, but when he plays, I think he is an incredible player. So yeah, I'd like to see both Isaac and Neto if we can get them both. Or there's also Marlen from Dortmund, who I do like. He used to play for this club in the academy. There's Marlon. There's Rafinha. If he's surplus to requirements of Barcelona, there's Sane. If he's surplus to requirements of Bayern Munich, then
Yeah, he was a good
we
player.
do have to balance. But yeah, I think a winger and a striker is needed. I just think we need to. We need to.
Yeah.
To the next
I
level.
think you do start to see this more now in the Champions League with Saka. Don't get me wrong, I think I love Saka, he's my favourite player, but I think it'd be healthy for him to have someone to compete with, like Tierney had that with Zinchenko, so I definitely agree with that. I just wanted to read this question for you for Seb. Who would you like to see come in for Partey if he is sold?
Well, my ideal person is Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, a player that we've been linked with for like the last year. And when I've actually seen him play more since we were linked with him, I've actually been impressed with him. He's a kind of that Rodri guy that keeps things steady, that blocks tackles, starts to start an attack. I think he's a brilliant player, and he's definitely someone I'd like to bring in with a. He has a release clause just over 50 million, which I'll definitely be willing to take. So he's the guy I really do want. There's also Anana from Everton, who's a strong, powerful guy in that midfield, and he's someone I would take. I know his passing isn't quite there yet, but
Yeah.
I think all the other work that he does would be good. So there'll be my two options. We have also been linked with Kimmich, who I think would be a good.
Yeah.
Kimmich would be a good addition. If someone like a Frankie de Jong became available because of Barcelona had to sell due to their finances, I wouldn't be against him. I wouldn't be against bringing him in. I'm not really sure about Douglas Luiz. He is a good player and he's had a great season, but I think there's bits in his game which I just don't see him being much of an upgrade from what we have.
Yeah.
I wasn't so sure, but I had to put my money over the line. I had to choose one. I'll go for Zubimendi from Sociedad. He's the one I want.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Partey, his injuries are a little bit of a problem, but it would be hard to replace him with someone on his level because I think when he's at his best, I feel like he's up there for one of the best players, midfielders in the league. Obviously, Rodri, he's amazing for Man City, but I just feel like Partey, when he's at his best, this team really benefits of him, how good he is. And I think if he left, I would be upset, but I feel like I would understand. I just wouldn't know how much money we'd get for him either because we know how good he is, but his injuries obviously come with that as well. I wanted to read this out. Kimmich can also fill in at right back, and Arteta loves players who can fill in. Yeah, we've got a few players who can do that, so I
Oh
definitely
yeah,
think, yeah.
yeah. I take Kimmich. I'll take Kimmich, great player.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, I know Bayern Munich, when we played them, I just thought Sané as well, amazing players. I just love their players. I mean, I think when you see the Champions League, you get to see different type of players that you would really love at Arsenal. And obviously, as we mentioned before, it has been a really good season. And I wanted to kind of ask you about your player of the season for Arsenal because for me, I said on my show, Declan Rice has been absolutely amazing. But I also did want to give credit as well to Odegaard, to Gabriel, because I think them two as well have been massive in our season. And it's kind of hard to pick your player of the season because I also love Ben White. It's hard, but I just feel like Declan Rice for me this season, I feel like we probably wouldn't have gone as far as we have without him. I think you can see how important he is. But for you, who would you say your player of the season is?
Perhaps that we're finding it hard to pick.
Yeah.
Comes how far we've come because for the last few years there's only been one standout obvious art.
Yeah.
Now there's actually a few, but yeah, I agree with you. I'll go Declan Rice. I think what he's brought to this team has just been brilliant. His leadership skills, his leadership skills. Yeah, I just think his all round play in the midfield. I just think he's a complete midfielder. That I even think if he was alone in that midfield without any other two, I'll still be confident he'll do an excellent job. I just
Yeah.
thought he's brought us to another level, and he would have played a huge part if we do win this title. So yeah, I would say Martin Odegaard. I literally ran out of words to describe how good he is, and he's got even better. He's adding goals and assists to his game.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He can do the defensive work. He can do the midfield work. He can also start to attack because title-winning sides have that core midfielder that brings defense and attack to life. And we've not really had a player like that since
Yeah.
the era. I think that's just been
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say Declan Rice, but a close second is Martin Odegaard and William
Yeah.
Saliba's
Cool.
also up. William
Oh
Saliba's
yeah,
also
Saliba as
yeah.
well. It is hard because like I could name you all. I think every single player has had a really important role in this team. I think you look at Raya as well. He has made mistakes this season, but he also has done a lot of good. And it is a big step up when you come from Brentford, to Arsenal, because when you're Arsenal, you're supposed to be competing for leagues, trophies. So I feel like for me, I definitely think he deserves credit as well. Good question here from Rookie Cookie. Question for Sebastian. Who's the biggest unsung hero at Arsenal?
Ooh, I think there's
Good
quite a few,
question.
but the most underrated player, I'm going Leandro Trossard.
Yeah,
I think he's excellent, and he's that guy that just comes up with a goal. He's direct, he's sharp.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to say Trossard. He's a player that very rarely gets recognition from most clubs, and I was very happy when we signed him from Brighton. Definitely better signing than Mudryk, that's for sure. But
oh, definitely, yeah,
yeah, I'm going to say Trossard. I think he's got even better this season, and yeah, like I've said with Trossard, I don't think he's reliable enough to start every week, but I think as a squad player and to have a round
yeah,
to come off the bench and to fill in, I think he's fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
Leandro Trossard for me.
Yeah, I think for me, like you say, I feel like he's our super sub. I love him off the bench a bit more than when he plays because I feel like when he plays, sometimes he could go a little bit quiet throughout the game, and if he comes on from the bench, he seems quite fired up and ready to go. So I do agree
I
with you.
like how he interchanges with a few.
Yeah,
I think that's also a good part of his game as well.
Yeah, I do agree, and also I think I can't argue that. I think Trossard definitely has been our unsung hero. I used to think Ben White was, but I feel like more and more this season you are starting to give. I think as Arsenal fans we give him credit, and I'm starting to think maybe rival fans are starting to see what we see in him. But I think with Martinelli, as you mentioned before, I do have my worries about him at the moment because obviously he isn't starting. And to be honest with you, I think with the lineup, you couldn't really argue with Arteta because I think the lineup that he puts out at the moment, deserve to play because they're the ones in form. But I know with Martinelli, I feel like he struggles a bit to get in the game. I know we like him because he brings that energy that we need in the game. I mean, I don't know if I'm worried about his future. I do see him at Arsenal, but I think I don't ever see him more right now as a bench player. I mean, how do you feel about Martinelli next season? Do you feel like he will be a player that starts or a player that will come off the bench a bit more?
Well, it's hard to say really because obviously things can obviously change
Yeah,
through pre-season and through the start of the season. But the thing with I have had a bit of a concern with Martinelli because his drop off has been quite big this year
yeah,
compared to last season when he was literally amazing. But we've definitely got to keep him. He'll definitely be here next season. There's no way we should be even think about entertaining offers with him. No way. But like I've said earlier, I think he's probably a little bit more of a squad player. I just don't
yeah,
think he's quite. You just don't think he's probably someone to start every single week if you want to be winning the title. And this is
yeah.
no disrespect to him. I think he's a much better player than than most players in the Premier League, especially better than Rashford. I can tell you that. But
Yeah, I think as well as injuries, I know he's had a few of them. I think doesn't help either. So I think at the moment for the last few games, I think that's probably his role. Just to come off the bench because I think you look at the players that we've got, like Havertz, Saka, Trossard, etc. Like they are the ones who are unformed that will help us win those games. So having Martinelli come off the bench as well is a nice thing to have. He brings us that energy, but I think with a lot of these players we have, like I said, Jesus, I think when you've had a few injuries, it does affect you. It probably will affect how their body is and, how they get into games. So I think next season will be obviously really interesting to see how that goes. But thank you all so much for tuning in today. I've really enjoyed having you on, Sebastian. I know you do a bit on the Arsenal Lounge. So do you want to just tell people a bit about what you do? And yeah, so people can find you on social media as well.
yeah, a couple of things. Yeah, I do weekly articles for the Arsenal Lounge. We just talking about the club we love and either talking about the situation or just a few other things that have come in relevant with the times. So yeah. So yeah, weekly articles for the Arsenal Lounge, and I also have an Instagram page called Talk Arsenal FC, which I post daily all things Arsenal. I've got nearly 23,000 followers. So I'm also doing work on that as well. So yeah, that's mainly where I am. Instagram and articles. Yeah.
Yeah, please do check that out and give him a follow. And it has been really lovely to chat with you today. I've really enjoyed this, and thank you all so much in the comments that have chatted with us. We've definitely enjoyed it, but thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed chatting with
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Yeah.
Oh, you're always welcome, and you can always come on anytime. And yeah, really enjoyed it. And to those that are watching, don't forget to smash the like button, do subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all in my next video.
Come on, you Reds.